Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to Israel Update. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your week to join us. Time is valuable, time is precious, and the fact that you would take time to come and do this with us, to come and watch our show, means a whole lot. Thank you so much for your support. As you know, I've been journeying through the book of Psalms. There are many Psalms, and I'm just picking ones as I go that I feel are going to be pertinent and relevant. And so today I'm going to be doing Psalm 20. May the Lord answer you when you are in distress. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you. May he send you help from the sanctuary and grant you support from Zion. May he remember all your sacrifices and accept your burnt offerings. May he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. We will shout for joy when you are victorious and will lift our banners up in the name of our God. May the Lord grant all your requests. Now I know that the Lord saves his anointed. He answers him from his holy heaven with the saving power of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. They are brought to their knees and fall, but we rise up and stand firm. O Lord, save the King, answer us when we call. Now again, as I've been going through these Psalms, I've been trying to personalize them, and there's so much here that we can see. You know, all of us have been in a time of distress, in a place of distress. And so, you know, when you've been in that place of distress, the encouragement would be you call on God and he will answer from his sanctuary, that he will remember all the things that you've done, that I've done. The prayer, like it says in verse 4, is that he would give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. Then there will be celebration and rejoicing when there's victory. And we know that God's able to save us. You know, and a lot of us, those of you that have grown up in church, you generally would have probably read this and you probably know it, that some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will trust in the name of the Lord our God. You know, we know all this. But I want to look at the psalm in the context of Israel. David was speaking about the nation here. When you are in distress, may the name of the God of Jacob protect you. There's such a reverence for the name of God in Jewish culture, such an incredible reverence. You know, it's there's just so much to it. There's such a weightiness to the name of God. And when you think about in our culture, in Western culture, you know, it's thrown around and it means nothing, but there's such reverence and awe and wonder at the name of God. And when you think about how God revealed himself to Moses, part of what he did when his glory was passing by is he was proclaiming his goodness, but also his name. David again saying, may he send you help from the sanctuary and grant you support from Zion. And again, saying to the nation of Israel, may he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. And God has saved his anointed. And you know, this verse right here, this is the verse for me, verses 6 and 7. Now I know that the Lord saves his anointed. He answers him from his holy heaven with the saving power of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Verse 8, they are brought to their knees and fall, but we rise up and stand firm. This can just seem like text on a page to us, and so often it is. But for the nation of Israel, when there have been times in their history, when you look at the start of the nation in Genesis chapter 12, when you look to what happened in AD 70 when the temple fell and everything in between, where there was conquests and vanquishings and Jerusalem being taken over and the Jews going into captivity and then returning to the land and then going into captivity and then returning. It's been chaos. When you think about how many different cultures and societies just anthropologically existed throughout world history, looking at it, all the major enemies of the Jews are no more, whether it was the Syrophoenicians, whether it was the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Avites, whether it was the people that were from the Philistines, no matter what you look at, the Edomites, the Moabites, countless enemies, the Amorites, none of them are still here today. Yes, we have descendants, of course, and you know, parts of the earth are inhabited now. But whether you look at the Babylonians, every single enemy that at one point ruled the known world at the time no longer exists, but Israel still stands. Why? Because God saves his anointed. And Israel as a nation has been surrounded by enemies that were innumerable. Look at what God did with Gideon in the book of Judges. He used 300 men to defeat an army of tens of thousands. There have been so many miracles with God delivering the nation of Israel for thousands of years. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years, even now, from the rebirth of the nation, miraculously as a fulfillment of Isaiah 66:8. Can the nation be born in a day, yet no sooner is Zion in labor than she brings forth her sons? May the 14th, 1948 happens. Israel's miraculously reborn after having no homeland for 2,000 years. And immediately a war happens and they win against millions of Arabs. It's impossible. It's impossible that they've won the wars that they've won, but it's because God is their deliverer. He is the one. So the others around, again, at the time for imagery, chariots and horses were like the ultimate cavalry. They were the ultimate weaponry. It would now be like some trust in nuclear weapons and some trust in, whatever the equivalent is of that in terms of army defense terms right now. That's the equivalent. Some trust in nuclear weapons, some trust in artillery, some trust in the size of the army, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God, and that is what Israel has done as a nation, and God has continued to deliver them miraculously. They, the enemies, are brought to their knees and fall, but we rise up and stand firm. We've seen this happen time and time and time again. And the reason we continue supporting Israel the way we do is because obviously we're told she's the apple of God's eye, and we love what God loves. That's why we do what we do. But Israel is here as a picture for us, as an image. It's here as a demonstration of who God is, where God said, let there be light, and there's still light today because he spoke once. He set a law into motion when he blessed Abraham and said that those who bless you will be blessed. That law is still in effect today, and where he declared a covenant of love and said there will always be someone on the throne. There will always be somebody ruling. The scepter will not depart from Judah. And now we know that Jesus fulfilled all those things, all the messianic prophecies. But Israel is here for us as a sign and a demonstration. There are times when I look at the earth around me and I go, I don't know what is going on. Please, can you just sound the trumpet? Please, can you just sound the trumpet and we just all get out of here and stop all this nonsense? And there's times when I feel hopeless and completely full of despair. But Israel constantly gives me hope that God is who he says he is, and that the things that he promised he's going to do, he is able and willing to do. That is why I have so much hope in the midst of what can sometimes seem like unending darkness. Because too much has been fulfilled for the rest of it not to be fulfilled. Too many prophecies. Israel's a sign to me, to you. They're a sign, they're a demonstration. It's basically like this nation that is a manuscript. Their story, their history speaks of the character of God and demonstrates his character in a way that nowhere else does and nothing else does. The way God is with the Jews, he will not let them go. He can't. And that's how he is with me and you. He can't let us go. And so if you're having a moment of wavering, be encouraged by Israel's existence. Be encouraged that although others have trusted in their armies and in their numbers, God has always delivered and protected Israel, even when it seems like they had been completely defeated. But out of the ashes of the Holocaust, a nation was born again in fulfillment of ancient prophecy that Isaiah, the prophet born, who was prophesying 700 years before Jesus was born, May the 14th, 1948 happened in fulfillment of what Isaiah saw. It's mind-blowing, but God's got the whole map. He's got the whole thing planned out, and Israel is our sign. So I pray that you're encouraged today. And I was a little bit rambly and got a little bit excited there. But your enemies will be brought to their knees and fall as well, because if God did it for Israel, he can do it for you. And I pray that your heart would be encouraged this week. And I pray too that you would know that the Holy One of Israel, who delivered them time and time again, is working on your behalf, and that he cares for you more than you'll ever be able to understand. I hope you have a good week despite what's going on in your life, and just know that we're praying and trusting that whatever it is you're waiting for, whatever miracle you're waiting for, I pray that God would meet you exactly where you're at, and that every need would be met, that every desire would be fulfilled. Have a beautiful week. God bless you. See you next week at israelupdate.org.
There is a crisis in Ukraine. Our beloved Jewish Ukrainians are under attack. The Jews always come under attack first, and we, like you, love Israel and the Jewish people. Together we are committed to standing with Jews around the world. Zechariah chapter 8. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will save my people from the countries of the east and the west. I will bring them back to live in Jerusalem. They will be my people, and I will be faithful and righteous to them as their God. Thousands of years ago, the prophet Zechariah saw the time we are living in right now, a time when Jews who had been scattered throughout the earth would be brought back to Jerusalem, miraculously, and dwell once more in the Holy Land with the Holy One of Israel. By partnering with us on this project, you are part of fulfilling ancient prophecy. Every cent donated will go directly to the Ukrainian Jews in need, and together with us, we will be the hands and feet of prophecy in action.